Hello and welcome to Fishbowl VR. My name is Caleb and I'm going to spend the next few minutes going over the basic steps that you'll need to know in order to complete a test with your Gear VR. So you've signed up for Fishbowl VR and you've received your email, so what do? You're going to first click that link that's taking you back to fishbowlvr.com. It'll have you read and agree to the terms and conditions of the NDA. Then you'll select your hardware and system, and if that's changed or you don't have it in there, you'll need to add a new profile. This is easy enough to do in the settings menu. You'll notice that on this page there's plenty of information to help you get you going with your test. A lot of times different applications have different things that they want you to do, so you'll look right here for that information. Generally you want to keep your test within about 15 to 45 minutes. This is where it can be tricky. When using the Gear VR, there are multiple options when it comes to actually recording your gameplay. The first method that you could use is using the Gear VR's built-in video recorder, which requires you to sync your video footage in post-production. This also requires you to record your sound separately, and you'd need something like one of these 3.5mm jack cables, one end to plug into your headphone jack on your phone, and the other to plug into your microphone jack into your computer. This can be a little bit troublesome, so there is an easier way to do this. Not to mention that many applications that host copyrighted material will have this disabled, so you will often find yourself using this other method. Unfortunately, at this time, most screen recording applications just don't cut it when it comes to using the Gear VR. They can record your screen just fine running cardboard applications, but the moment you try to run them in the Oculus Home, it causes a lot of judder and problems. So one thing we found to work very well is MirrorOp. The second method requires you to download MirrorOp receiver for your PC, as well as MirrorOp sender for Galaxy on your Samsung phone. I've noticed that if you don't download the MirrorOp sender for Galaxy and just the original MirrorOp sender, there were problems. The Galaxy version allows for more settings. Once you've started up MirrorOp receiver on your PC, it's as simple as just starting it up and waiting. Once you've got MirrorOp sender for Galaxy started up on your Samsung phone, go into settings, make sure the quality is set to low, max resolution to very high, image codec to standard JPEG, and audio mirroring to enable. If you do notice a considerable amount of lag or judder when using this method, you might want to disable audio mirroring, and that will allow you to use the headphone cable like I said before. Using this method that we've described, we can record directly from our phone to our computer using OBS. What is OBS, you ask? Well, let's take a quick look at that. Typing OBS into Google will pop you up to openbroadcastsoftware.com. Once you go in there, you have either a choice to download their normal software or their studio software. I personally like to use OBS Studio because I found that it's a little bit easier to do these types of recordings. If you have a different method, that's fine. Alright, now let's do a quick test. I've got OBS installed, I've got MirrorOp. Let's do this. Right now I've got MirrorOp running on my desktop. It's waiting for a connection from my phone. At the same time, I've got OBS running here. I can move MirrorOp off. I can actually click down here into Add Source, and I can click on Window Capture. We'll call this one MirrorOp, because that's what it will be. Alright, and if you don't have it already selected, click down here in the windows, select any of your windows, find the one that says MirrorOp after it's already opened, click it, hit OK, and capture cursor. We're not going to want to capture the cursor. We do not need the cursor in there. So we can take this MirrorOp now and make sure it takes up as much of the space as possible. It's like we'll go about halfway. You can center it just by literally clicking on it and resizing it. Next, what you would do is you're going to add a camera. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here and we're going to hit Video Capture Device, and we're going to hit Add Video Capture Device. We'll call this webcam. Hit OK, and it's already got the webcam, but hey, a different webcam. Hey, what's going on, guys? Alright, from here you can configure video, you can configure different options with your video camera in your settings if you need to. You can hit OK right there. Hey, we've got me right here. So this is where you can actually resize yourself and move it to where you need to. Like I want to be over on this side, so we'll go ahead and move it like that. And I can simply make this as big or as small as I want to. I'm going to go ahead and put it about there. Now when you're using MirrorOp, it's going to do side by side, so you're going to get one window and one window. That's why I'm going to put myself about halfway in the middle of the screens, and of course we can adjust that as time goes. So just for now, we're going to show it like this, and I do not like that. So we're going to go back into the webcam, go into properties, no autofocus. Don't you ever autofocus. Your video output settings, of course for your encoder you want to make sure you're using your hardware if you can. Your video bitrate, try to make this always 10,000 and above if you can. Otherwise over here you've got recording quality. I use either high quality or indistinguishable quality. We're going to go with indistinguishable quality for this one. Hit OK, and then you're ready to go right there. Lastly, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure the game's playing. So let's jump into Anshar Wars. And remember, you can record using the Gear VR built-in function. Gives you a nice little red light in there. A lot of games don't have that. Plus, you don't get that mirrored audio that actually sends over to the other program. So unfortunately, you don't get to record your audio that way. So I might not like that so much. All right, now that we've got Mirror Op running on our phone, we're ready to do our test. The one thing you've got to note is that when you're using the unregistered version, it's only going to give you 5 minutes recording at a time, at which point you'll have to take it back out, start play again, and then put it back on your head. To register, it's $9.99, and that's something that Fishbowl will take care of once you've done your practice tests. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit play, we're going to hit stop, we're going to hit play, hit home, go ahead and put it in. Should be in there, come on, should be in there, guys. Let's do this, come on, come on, come on. Oculus Home begins to start up, and we do have mirrored audio going on. Should be recording as well. Okay, here we go, Anshar 2. As you can see, the quality is not going to be as good as if you recorded with the in-game recorder, but the fact of the matter is this records everything, and you don't have to worry about it not capturing the audio as well. Since this does mirror the audio to your computer, it directly records through OBS.
The Ansharian Empire has maintained a firm yet just hold on our
So, make sure when you're doing the test too that you talk about things that just are either good or bad. Keep in mind that when you're a developer, you want to know things that either are going to help the game or, that can be fixed. So try to just mention anything that you would think of, that you would want as a player to, either be changed or, might benefit you. Oh wow, this looks very nice. I like how you can handle it and actually kind of feel like you're maneuvering around things. Oh wow, yeah, the fact that I can actually kind of maneuver to do things like that are really cool. This is nice. Stop recording, and you're going to close out OBS. Fishbowl Anshar test. Now I'll go back into my thing, click choose to upload file. Once your file is completely uploaded, it'll ask you to complete the survey. And right here, you're going to have to go through and answer the basic questions. Would you recommend this to a friend? Oh, certainly. How would you rate the graphics? They weren't amazing, they were Android style, but they weren't terrible, they weren't bad. I'm not going to give them 1 or 2. I didn't think ever, wow, these graphics are especially amazing. But considering that they are a Gear VR app and the plasma coming off of them looked very nice, and even the flames look pretty good as opposed to being polygons, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. That one could be a 3 out of 5, but it really is going on the better style of games, so I will give it a little better score. And just remember, when you're answering these questions, answer them to the best of your ability, and try to just think about things that you would want to hear if you were a developer, or if this was your game. And for the last question, if you had a magic wand, what would you do to improve this experience? Once you've finished that, go ahead and hit the next button, usually submitting the course. Certain ones will have other questions and surveys that you'll continue on to, others do not. And once you've submitted that right there, you're done. That's all you've got to do. Test completed. It's a lot easier to do the CV1 recordings, considering that if you already have OBS installed, you do that same kind of a thing where you just grab the window for the different windows that are available. And sometimes they're going to be available full screen, other times you'll have to do a display capture. But playing around with OBS and the different settings, different quality settings that you have are certainly going to get you the best results. And if you do find different methods or different ways to do things that you find that are better than what you've seen in this tutorial, go ahead and do them. Feel free to elaborate and do things differently. This is just hopefully to give you a guide if you have any questions, and if you do have any questions, feel free to get a hold of me through realitycheckvr@vrspies.com, or of course through jeff@fishbowlvr.com. We would both be glad to help you out with any of the information. So until next time, thanks guys, later.